Well, I originally found Clear Passage when I could not get pregnant. The doctor said I was infertile. There was no way I was going to get pregnant on my own. And I started doing some research, and I found Clear Passage because I had had an appendectomy in '98, and it was it had abscessed. It was really infected, and I was in the hospital a week. So then a year later, I had my right ovary, a laparotomy with my right ovary and fallopian tube removed and a part of my colon resected. And that had left me with one fallopian tube that was completely blocked and with a hydrosalpinx. And so I, on a whim, was searching the internet, and I found this place called Clear Passage Therapy. So I called them up, and with a leap of faith, I came down. I received my 20 hours of therapy, support of my husband. We came down, and when we came back to my OB, we did a HSG test, and my tube was unblocked. Then the next month, we got pregnant with our first child. So that was miracle number one. And actually, I had come back to Clear Passage when my daughter was almost a year old, and I had an episiotomy, which made intercourse very painful after she was born. We were thrilled, it didn't matter, but we wanted to show off Maria, and they said, hey, why don't you just come in for some treatment? So I got 4 hours of treatment for the pain and the episiotomy and the adhesions, the vaginal adhesions, and the next month I was pregnant with twins. So delivered healthy boy and girl, and that was in 2006. They were delivered all natural. And remember, I was the patient that the doctors were saying, there's no way you're going to have a baby. Hey, let's take out that tube. Your FSH level is too high. You're going to have to use a donor egg. And we did this all naturally through Clear Passage and through their therapy. And so I felt empowered. And whenever something goes wrong in my anatomy in my body, I know, like, I can call up the Werns and I can ask, hey, what do you think about this? So I then was in the hospital in 2007, about a year after the twins were born. Now remember, the C-section was my third abdominal surgery. So I not only had a laparotomy, I had the appendectomy, and the doctors had even said when they opened me up for the laparotomy, your abdominal region is like someone poured concrete in there, because the infections and the intensiveness of the appendectomy when it burst, it was just like concrete. So I had the C-section, and I think that created more adhesions. And I ended up in the hospital with a small bowel obstruction, which was the scariest thing. 3 days of my life gone, just completely non-functional in the hospital. My husband was terrified. And I called up the Werns to say, hey, do you guys do anything to help? Like, what do you guys think? And they said, come down for treatment. So again, I came down, and it's the same gentle touch, listening to my body, responding to how I'm feeling. And it's a treatment where they place their hands on you. It's a sensation as if you're getting a deep stretch, and all of a sudden there's movement in your tight areas that you didn't have before. So you can breathe better, you can move smoother, your bowel movements are better, you're not as restricted. When I would lay down flat and I would sneeze, if I contracted my muscles, I would bend over in pain and have to hold it because I would have a major pain right here. So that was my first bowel obstruction. And now fast forward, that was 2007, now 2018. I've had my 5th bowel obstruction. Okay, and let me back up again. So 2007 was my first bowel obstruction. I just thought it was a fluke. I thought, sure, yeah, maybe I'll just, rub my stomach and it'll feel better. And then I had my second bowel obstruction 2 years later, and then I realized I need to get down to Gainesville for some more therapy. So I came down for therapy, and every time I'm in the hospital with a small bowel obstruction, I get an NG tube down my throat. It's the most disturbing thing. It's traumatic, it's painful, and my life completely shuts down. I cannot function at all. And I've got 3 small kids now, and I need any time away from them is hard. So I came to Clear Passage to see if they could help with my small bowel obstructions. And sure enough, yes, they can. They have experience there, and that not only did they help my digestive area, but they also taught me how to take charge, how I can, and gave me tools to work on when I'm starting to feel like I'm cramping up, or if I'm, and sure enough, I still use that. If there's something happening where I feel a cramp, I will place my hands on myself. There's different positions I can use, there are different stretches I can hold, and I have been able to pass the pain, and I know this sounds gross, but as soon as there's flatulence, I realize, okay, there's an opening, I'm going to be okay. So passing gas is good. And so like I said, this is my 5th small bowel obstruction. And I didn't mess around. This time I have received 20 hours of therapy. I feel fantastic. I feel empowered. There's a lightness about me. I feel vibrant. I feel like I'm positive, and in charge. And I'm always going to have to watch what I eat. I'm always going to have to stay hydrated and take care of myself. But I know that I have the tools to help relieve any dangerous situations I might find myself in. I know what the signs to look for, and I know how to treat myself. And what they're doing, I think they're ahead of their times, because no one wants to believe this miracle that they're creating here, because it seems too easy. But it is something that is life-saving. What an emergency bill room, what it costs to go to the emergency room and treat a small bowel obstruction is pennies in the bucket compared to what I'm trying to say is, like, if you were to go to the emergency room and pay that bill, it's less money to just come here and get the therapy that you need. This last small bowel obstruction that I had, I was in the hospital and giving the doctor my history, and he said, "Whew, you've been in here before." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You've got adhesions and you've got scar tissue. We're gonna have to get in there." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "We're gonna have to, cut you out and start getting those adhesions out." And I said, "Well, when you cut me open, doesn't that create more scar tissues?" And he said, that's the only thing that you've got. I mean, it's either that or you're in here again." And I thought to myself, there is no way I'm going to get cut open again. And why that seems to be the only science that they have to cure these. How about the natural way, where I wanted to do it naturally, hands-on therapy, instead of getting cut open through surgery, and it's less expensive. It's such a humbling and scary experience when you're going through a small bowel obstruction. It's really painful, and you're helpless, and you're going to lose 3 days of your life because you're going to have to get the NG tube down, and you're going to just have to sit in the hospital waiting for that next x-ray, hopefully for that next x-ray to show that it's unblocked on its own. Luckily mine have all resolved on their own after 3 days. It's a pain that is so intense, and that I would never wish that on my worst enemy. And it puts my husband and my family through so much emotional pain. My husband suffers a lot having to watch me go through that. And I'm just really thankful. I'm so thankful that I found Clear Passage. Not only have they given me my 3 children, it helped me, but they're also giving me my life back, and I'm not fearful. I'm now empowered. Coming here, I feel so positive and so much lighter, and so much more. I just feel like I am in charge now. I am empowered, and I can take care of myself. I feel like I'm healing my body, and I know what signs to look for. So if you have ever experienced a small bowel obstruction, you've got to come here and you've got to experience this healing process, and you will be amazed at just how passionate, how committed, how knowledgeable all the therapists are here, and that transfers to you and it empowers you. I'm leaving here just so happy and so excited and so much freer and so much more optimistic about, and I'm not afraid of any of, I know what I need to do to live a healthy life now with a small bowel obstruction. That's it. Thank you.